Michael Reeves, and tonight we are going to broadcast a 2017 regular season game in Autumn Wind. Again, this is strat-o-matic football, and this is the Autumn Wind League. And I'm just going to let both teams know that I'm in and say, let's go. Anyway, we typically do playoff broadcasts in Autumn Wind and other strat-o-matic leagues, but this year we decided there's going to be some key matchups that are going to come up during the season, and we want to highlight one of them tonight. These are two teams, Houston and Grand Rapids, who many people believe will be there when it counts, i.e. the playoffs. And so we want to have a little broadcast tonight. We're going to watch these two teams play. And I'm getting my little workbook out here now so I can get a better idea of who's on each one of these rosters. Again, this is the Houston Texans against Grand Rapids. This is the 2017 Autumn Wind League. We are in the first quarter of games. And it looks like Grand Rapids is going to begin with possession after a nice return to the 37. So we use actual team names in this league, but they can come from the USFL, the World League. What was that goofy NFL Euro League that they have? We have a few teams with that as well. And, of course, National Football League teams, current and defunct. So Grand Rapids with the ball. This is running back Mike Gillisley on the first carry of the game, and he's going to pick up 7 yards on the play. Grand Rapids has the ball at the 44-yard line. Let me look at my spreadsheet here real quick, and we'll get an idea of what Grand Rapids has to offer. So Grand Rapids has Tyrod Taylor, the scrambling quarterback under center, and their feature back is Mike Gillisley. On the wings, they have Thomas, and that's Mike Evans. And here comes a designed run for Tyrod Taylor. It's guessed wrong, and he picks up 4, and that will move the chains. That is Michael Thomas. The rookie from the New Orleans Saints, who was picked up in the first round by Grand Rapids. Here comes a curl pass. This one's to Mike Evans. There's 3 in the zone. It is guessed correctly by Nathan, who coaches the Houston Texans. And that pass is going to fall incomplete. That'll bring up 2nd down and 10. I'll give you a little bit of information on these two coaches here real quick. Here comes a deep pass to Mike Evans, and it is incomplete. And that will bring up 3rd down. Grand Rapids is coached by Dave Malt, who is one of the longest tenured members of Autumn Wind. In fact, if I'm looking at this correctly, this league was established 14 years ago, and he was among the first in this group. In fact, he would be on the Mount Rushmore, if you will, of Autumn Wind. Nathan is Nathan Baylor, and he coaches the Houston Texans, and he has been in this league for 6 years. I have seen Nathan in a lot of other leagues as well, and he's very excited about what this team has to offer this season. So we'll take a look at both these two rosters and their records last year. Ball is at midfield, basically. 48-yard line of Grand Rapids, 3rd down and 10. This is a screen pass to Devontae Booker. The pass falls incomplete, and Grand Rapids will punt on their first possession. Edwards' punt is going to travel to the 5, and it's going to bounce into the end zone. And Nathan will take over. 1st and 10 at his own 20. So let's take a quick look at Houston's roster. But before they do that, that first pass is going to fall incomplete. That is Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, the overall #1 pick in the autumn wind draft. Here comes a run to Lamar Miller. The ball is fumbled, but it's subsequently picked up and rushed for 8 yards. Let's see who's going to get credit for that carry. That is Prescott's fumble. And Eric Ebron with the pickup, and he rumbles all the way to the 28. So this will bring up 3rd and 2 for the Texans. Ball at their own 28. So Nathan Baylor made a lot of trades and moves to get up to that #1 spot to pick up Dak Prescott. Lamar Miller's carry on 3rd down and 2. He's actually dropped for a 2-yard loss. Grand Rapids holds and will now receive a punt from the Houston Texans. So neither team is able to move the ball very effectively on their first drives. Grand Rapids will have their second shot. So Dak Prescott is the quarterback for Houston. Their feature back is Lamar Miller, who Houston acquired in a trade with Shreveport before the season. They also have a very, very talented wide receiver group that includes A.J. Green and Sammy Watkins, Vincent Jackson, Jerron Brown, Sammy Coates as well. So we'll see how many of them get action. They all have different skill sets. So Grand Rapids is about to take this punt. It's a 46-yard kick. Let's see what they can do with it. Nothing. The ball's going to fall and land dead at the 25. So Grand Rapids will take over at their own 25. Again, this is Dave Malt, coach of the Grand Rapids Club. Again, these are two teams with a lot of talent and should be looking at postseason success, at least on paper. And that is a 10-yard pass and a first down from Tyrod Taylor to tight end Julius Thomas. And here comes a crossing pattern. This one is not going to take place. Instead, we have a scramble by Tyrod Taylor, who's quite good at that. And on his must-run column, he hits a 16, and that's another first down for Grand Rapids. And they now, for the first time, have gotten into Houston Texans territory. Tyrod Taylor again, another pass. Houston decides to double team Michael Thomas. Instead, he's going to Mike Evans. And this pass is going to be completed. So Tyrod Taylor's off to a good start. It's a 15-yard pickup for Mike Evans and another first down. Grand Rapids now has the ball at the Houston 34, 1st and 10. Tyrod Taylor, not much success on the first drive, but in this one, that's 2 catches in a row, and also a must-run scramble for 16. Here's a deep pass to Mike Evans, double teamed by Houston. The pass falls incomplete, and that'll bring up 2nd down. Second down and 10, ball at the Texans 34, Grand Rapids and Houston, 0-0 midway through the first quarter. Here comes a pitch to Gillislee. Defense calls pass, and that's a short gain. Guess wrong, he has 2 short gains at 6 and 7, so he's definitely a weapon. That'll be a 15-yard pickup for Gillislee. And another first down for Grand Rapids, ball at the Houston 19. Here comes a slant pass to Julius Thomas. The play is guessed wrong, and Thomas will pick up 13 yards and another first down. Grand Rapids knocking on the door at the Texans 6. Houston comes into this game with 2 wins. In their first 2 tries, they have wins over the Dallas Desperados and the New England Patriots. Grand Rapids has played 1 game and won it. And they beat the New York Jets 33-29 in a wild shootout. So here comes an off-tackle run to Gillislee. Houston has keyed Gillislee. This is going to be a loss. Stopped in the backfield, loss of 1. That'll be 2nd down and goal. Ball at the 7. Conference rivals, Grand Rapids and Houston. Locked up this Sunday night. Grand Rapids knocking on the door. Here comes a slant pass to Julius Thomas. 4 in the zone. Defense guesses run. And we're waiting for the call. Here comes the snap. Tyrod Taylor looking for Julius Thomas. Julius Thomas is able to haul it in for a touchdown. So Grand Rapids is on the board with a 7-yard pass from Tyrod Taylor to Julius Thomas. And the Rampage are up 6-0 pending this extra point, which Nick Novak puts through the pipes. And with 6 minutes to go in the first quarter, Grand Rapids is ahead 7-0. Now the Texans will take over at their 25. I formation, Lamar Miller in the backfield. Here comes a slant pass to tight end Vance McDonald, and that pass is going to fall incomplete. On 2nd down, here comes another pass. This one's to Olier, and that pass also falls incomplete. So Dak Prescott unable to connect on his first 3 passes. The Houston Texans last year finished 10-6. Grand Rapids finished 14-2. we'll talk a little bit about both of their seasons. That was Dak Prescott on a run. He only picks up 4 on the play. It is 4th and 6, and Houston once again will turn the ball back over to Grand Rapids. And this punt is going to be fielded at the 23. The game has gone through a little bit of a pause. We'll get back into it here in just a little bit. Well, hopefully we'll get back into it. Sometimes we have these little problems with freezes. So hopefully we'll be able to jump back in. If not, we'll just jump out of here and we'll jump right back in. Doesn't look like it's going to come back. Well, strat-o-matic had been working on connectivity issues, and it looked like they'd come up with the better mousetrap, but I'm not really sure about that. I've had a lot of problems with connections, and I'm sure they'll continue to look into it. But we'll go ahead and jump out of this game, and we'll jump right back in. Well, I think things have really, really mega locked up on me here. Okay, now we're back into it. Sorry for the delay. See if we can catch up with things here. Looks like Grand Rapids has been driving. That was a run by Tyrod Taylor, but it doesn't pick up any yards. Grand Rapids has made their way down to the Houston 35. Again, we were kicked out for a couple of minutes. I'm really sorry about that. Don't want to wreck the momentum of this game. We'll set it back for you here. Minute 30 left in the first quarter. Grand Rapids is leading 7-0 over the Houston Texans. We're in the first quarter of Autumn Wind 2017 games, and this is a matchup against two teams who made the playoffs last year. In fact, I'm navigating the website as we speak. I'm pretty sure that this is the Houston Texans team that wound up getting to the finals. Which I know I'm looking at the wrong page. It is. It's the Houston Texans team. Very interesting. Nathan guided this Texans team at 10-6 last year to the Super Bowl, or we call it the Ooper Bowl, with Case Keenum at quarterback. And now we have a playoff team that wins the gets to the Super Bowl, falls short to the Seattle Seahawks, coached by Dennis Crowley. Then they reload and manage to pick up the #1 selection in the draft. So they unload Case Keenum and wind up picking up Dak Prescott. And they made a number of other changes to their team, which, again, we'll go through here in just a little bit. Here comes a run to Mike Gillislee for Grand Rapids, and we've just now closed the first quarter. Grand Rapids is on the march once again. Ball at the Houston 16. They're winning 7-0 here at Texans Stadium in Houston. Here comes a pass, this time to Michael Thomas. That pass falls incomplete, so it's now 3rd and 7. Put the card image back up here. Let's see how things are going here for Tyrod Taylor. So far, 7 of 12 for 76 yards. He also has 15 yards on the ground. Taylor's looking to pass on this play, and he's looking for Michael Thomas, but he's not able to find him. So Houston bends, they do not break, and they're going to force a field goal attempt from Nick Novak, his first of the game. And he puts it through from 33 yards, and Grand Rapids now is on top 10-0 over the Houston Texans. We are just underway in the second quarter of this regular season contest between the Grand Rapids Rampage and the Houston Texans. The Texans have not been able to get anything started on offense. This time they're looking to go through the air. Here comes a short pass to A.J. Green, and it falls incomplete. And that'll bring up 2nd down. So Grand Rapids defense, as you can see up the middle, very stout. 4, 6, 6, and 6. Some vulnerability in their linebacker core. 4 at right linebacker and a 0 at left linebacker, and that's Terrell Suggs. But he is a pass rushing specialist. And an okay secondary. That's Eric Berry at strong safety. Patrick Chung at free. You also have Richard Sherman at one corner. And it looks like Jimmy Smith at the other. So they've got an excellent run defense and a good pass defense. So definitely a challenge to move the ball on the Rampage. Here comes a pitch to Lamar Miller. It's on his card. It's guessed wrong, and he does pick up 5 on the play, and that'll set up a manageable 3rd and 4 for the Texans. That was a 6-yard pickup for Lamar Miller. He's only had 2 carries so far. So we'll see what Houston comes up with. Looks like a pass. It looks like a pass for Sammy Coates. It is guessed correct. And it's a quick pass to Sammy Coates, and he does. He picks it up. 5 yards, just enough for a 1st down for the Houston Texans. Ball at the 36. More than 12 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Houston trails 10-0. Here comes a deep pass, and it's going to be picked off. It's going to be intercepted. And that pickoff was made by Brian Poole. So it might not be Patrick Chung at the safety. It could be Brian Poole. Brian Poole is a defensive back, so he can play safety, strong, or he can play corner, and apparently that's where he's moved him to. And that was a rookie. Brian Poole from the Atlanta Falcons makes the interception for Grand Rapids, and they will take over at their own 38. Here comes a pass to Julius Thomas, but he settles for a dump, and this one's going to go for some yards. 13. I'm sorry, that's not a dump-off pass. Actually, that's the linebacker 6 rule. So Julius Thomas picks up 13 on the play, and that'll bring up another 1st down. Here comes a screen pass to Devontae Booker, and this one is going to go for some major yards, 20 yards. Again, the linebacker 6 rule comes into play. So another big gain, 2 nice gains, 2 more first downs for Houston. They've been able to move the ball pretty effectively here in this first half, and they are marching. Ball at the 29 of the Houston Texans, Grand Rapids. With Jonathan Stewart in the backfield. It's guessed right. Nice call by Nathan with the Texans, but Stewart is able to roll a 5 on his own card, and that'll bring up 2nd and 5 for Grand Rapids. Ball at the Houston 24. Texans trailing 10-0. Certainly don't want to go down too far here to Grand Rapids. It looks like a score is inevitable. He'll do everything he can to hold him to a field goal. Grand Rapids with an excellent run defense and a good pass defense. Not the kind of club in which dynamic comebacks are the norm. Here comes a deep pass to Mike Evans. It's going to be caught, and that's going to be a touchdown. So Grand Rapids. Tyrod Taylor connects with Mike Evans. That's his 2nd touchdown throw of the first half. White hot, 133 yards passing for Tyrod here in the first half, and he has led Grand Rapids to a 17-0 lead here. Getting close to the midway point of the first half. So here comes a run. This one to Lamar Miller. Going to see if he can make some control the line of scrimmage here just a little bit. Picks up 6 on his own card, which is a good thing because that's a very stout run defense, an excellent run defense, in fact, put on the field by Grand Rapids. Let's see if he starts to pick on some of those linebackers. Instead, he goes to A.J. Green, and that pass falls incomplete. And that'll bring up 2nd down. Ball at the Texans 35, trailing 17-0. Here in the second quarter of this autumn wind regular season contest between the Houston Texans and Grand Rapids Rampage. Houston comes into this game 2-0, Grand Rapids 1-0. Here comes a pitch to Lamar Miller. He picks up 4, and again, move the chains, 1st down for Houston. Not very many 1st downs for Houston, so small steps here as they climb their way back into this game. Lamar Miller picks up 3 on his carry. 2nd down and 7. Dak Prescott under center. Here comes a curl pass to A.J. Green. It's guessed right, and the pass falls incomplete. So 3rd down. Tough sledding so far for Dak Prescott. He's only hit on 1 of 8 passes for 5 yards, and he also has an interception. So he's not been able to nail any of those must runs. And he's going to have to catch some breaks if they're on his card because, again, it's a very good pass defense by Grand Rapids. Certainly in the driver's seat, up 17-0. And here comes a deep pass to Sammy Watkins. He finds him, and a big catch for Sammy Watkins. It's good for 38 yards. And Houston is now in business for the first time in scoring position in this contest. And here comes another pass. This one goes to Vance McDonald, and that's another 1st down for the Texans. So now they are in business, certainly looking to put some points on the board and cut into this 17-0 lead held by Grand Rapids. A little over 6 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. Here comes another run to Lamar Miller again. Trying to put something together here on the ground. And he picks up 5. 2nd down and 10. Flat pass still in play. Let's see if he uses it here. 3-4 defense for Grand Rapids. Here's a run to Lamar Miller. It's a pitch. And he's able to pick up 4. His offensive guard is rated 6, and he needed that block, and he sprung him free and got him 4 more yards. So that'll bring up 3rd down and 1. Full house backfield with Lamar Miller, and I think it's Mike Davis also in the backfield. Here comes a pass to Walier, and that pass is going to fall incomplete. So 4th and 1, decision time for Nathan and the Texans. 1 yard on the ground doesn't sound like much, but when you're facing an excellent defense, that 1 yard is going to be a very difficult thing to come by. So understandable he would try a pass in this situation, but now got to try to find a way to get that yard to keep this momentum going. He is not going to go for a field goal. He doesn't want to settle, doesn't know how often he's going to be in this territory. Here comes a curl pass to A.J. Green, and Green calls it in for the score. So nice call by Houston. Nathan, nice call. He picks on the 4-rated cornerback, and A.J. Green hauls it in for 6. And Greg the Leg Zerline puts in the extra point, and we now have a closer game. It is Grand Rapids 17 and Houston 7. We missed the animation on that return. And Grand Rapids will take over 1st and 10 at their own 41. A little less than 4 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Grand Rapids is winning 17-7 over the Houston Texans. Again, this is Autumn Win 2017. Regular season contest between 2 clubs who made the playoffs last year and look destined to make the playoffs this year. Every once in a while, we're going to put together some contests. We're going to feature some of our playoff teams and not just save it for the playoffs. So Tyrod Taylor, who's been pretty hot here, especially in the second quarter, on his first pass from scrimmage, tosses an incomplete pass to his running back, Devontae Booker, and that'll bring up 2nd down. Mike Gillislee is the feature back. I've seen Devontae Booker in on passing downs. Here comes a run to Gillislee, and it picks up 11 yards, and that'll move the chains. And once again, Grand Rapids moves into Houston territory. Like Grand Rapids, Houston has a good pass defense, but the difference is their run defenses. Grand Rapids has an excellent run defense. Houston sports an average run defense. And here comes a run to Jonathan Stewart. So they're rotating 3 different players in the backfield. Stewart picks up 4 on the play. It's now 2nd and 6. The Texans feature a very, what do you want to say here, mediocre front line on their 3-4 defense. 4s across the board. They do have Jordan Hicks from the Eagles, a 6-rated defender. Six-rated defender. Here comes a pass to Anthony Fasano that's going to fall incomplete. So they do feature a 6-rated Jordan Hicks. They also have Melvin Ingram from San Diego, a 5-rated pass defender and a 6-rated run defender as well. They also do feature a 6-rated strong safety in Landon Collins from the New York Giants. Here's a 3rd down and 6 pass that is completed to Jordan Matthews. And again, Grand Rapids is able to pick up another 1st down. So with 2 minutes to go here in the second quarter, Grand Rapids up 17-7. Closing in on field goal range. Also closing in here on the first half. 2 minutes to go. They do have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. The Rampage. Here comes a pass to Malcolm Thomas. And this is a flare pass. And it only picks up 3. Lucky break, though. That was another 6 roll, a 6 rated linebacker rule comes up. But in this case, he only picks up 3 because of the receiver rating on his card. Nothing to get too excited about on that flat pass. Guessed right on Malcolm Thomas. A couple of double digits there when you roll a 2 and a 5. So here's second down. He was able to get out of bounds, so that preserves the clock. Ball at the 30. And here comes a run. Devontae Booker sweeps, and he goes out of bounds. And again, that stops the clock. So 3rd and 5, ball at the 28. They are certainly in Nick Novak field goal range. At this point, it would be a 45-yarder. That's Devontae Booker in the backfield. 3 wide set. Jordan Matthews is their 3rd wide receiver. That's a pretty talented team. He's going to Jordan Matthews again. He's guarded by a 4. Play is guessed right, and the pass is going to fall incomplete. So 4th down. So Houston again, this time actually is able to hold to what we believe is going to be a field goal, but maybe Dave is thinking about going for it here. No, he does trot Novak out onto the field. And that ball is going to be wide. So Nick Novak is unable to connect from 45 yards out, and that gives Houston the ball at their own 35. That first carry was from Lamar Miller, who managed to get out of bounds, taking the ball to the Houston 41. So there's a pretty fair amount of time here for Houston to make some noise before the half. That was a quick pass to Sammy Coates, but he winds up losing a yard on the play, and that'll bring up 3rd down. 52 seconds remaining. Texans with all 3 of their timeouts. Ball at their own 40. Texans trail 17-7 to Grand Rapids here in the second quarter. Dak Prescott in this first half, well, he's seen better days. 5 of 13 for 61 yards and an interception. He also has a touchdown to A.J. Green. Here's a 3rd down pass to Lamar Miller. Lamar Miller gets out of bounds, which doesn't do Houston any favors because now it's 4-2 and Grand Rapids is going to get the ball back. Now, they're not going to get it with very much time, probably around 30 seconds. Here comes Johnny Hecker, and he shanks one. Oh, mercy. 14 yards. Wow, that's exactly. And, well, they fall on the ball, but look at the field position now for Grand Rapids. Again, not a lot of time left, 37 seconds here in the second quarter, but they do have all 3 of their timeouts. And Tyrod Taylor has a lot of weapons on the field, and a lot of them can go deep. That's Mike Evans. That's Jordan Matthews. That's Michael Thomas and Jerron Brown. Now, that's the 4 wide set. Let's see what he actually goes with. That's just the default, what strat-o-matic put out there. Let's see if he actually goes to the 4 wide set. I kind of doubt it. Well, I doubted wrong, didn't I? So he got a 3-3-5 counter from the Texans. 37 seconds remaining. You put 4 wide receivers out there, and you are spreading the Texans pretty thin, though they do have 4s at all of their corners. Though in this case, they're going with a 3-3-5, so this puts their strong safety in play. That is a nice play by Jerron Brown. He picks up 10 yards. And another first down. So Grand Rapids now finds themselves in Texans territory once again. This is the 5th time, in fact, that they've been in Texans territory. They've been able to come away with scores on 3 of them. They missed a field goal on their last drive. They do have 30 seconds remaining. Ball at the Texans 46, 1st and 10. And here comes a screen pass into a vacated zone to Devontae Booker, and he will pick up 20 yards. So once again, the Texans are in business. I didn't happen to see if that was a vacated zone or if he was not picked up by a blitzing linebacker. Sorry about that. Regardless, the result of the play is another 20 yards. Tyrod Taylor with 177 yards passing here in the first quarter. This play is guessed right. It's another pass to Devontae Booker. He's going to pick up 6, and he's not able to make it out of bounds. So Great Britain, Grand Rapids is going to have to call a timeout here. They have 15 seconds remaining. Ball on the 20, in better field goal range for Nick Novak, so it looks like they're going to add some more points here before the half. Let's see if they try to take some shots down the field. They basically have 2 more plays before they have to make a decision as far as a kick is concerned, so they got 2 shots at the end zone. Three wide set, Devontae Booker in the backfield. Here comes an end run for Tyrod Taylor, but it's on the defensive card, so it's not going to yield a lot of yards. In fact, he manages to make it out of bounds with no gain. If that's on the offensive card, Tyrod Taylor has a short gain on that play, but instead it's on the defensive card, and that'll bring up 3rd and 4, and the computer puts the kick team out, but I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll run one more play because Grand Rapids has a timeout, and that's 2 times in a row that I guessed, and why am I bothering to guess? There's Nick Novak. He's going to go ahead and try to put through a 37-yard field goal. He missed on his last attempt, and he's missed on another attempt. Would you look at that, Albie? So Novak is only 1 of 3 in field goals in this first half. They've left 6 points on the field. The Rampage, winning 17-7, is up 17-7 here with 1 second left to go before the end of the half. But Novak certainly has let them down. Here comes a knee from Dak Prescott, and we're going to go into the half. So Houston has to feel pretty good about themselves. They're still only down 2 scores. And they're getting the ball here in the second half. Let's see if they're going to take a break. And they're going to take a little bit of a break. So while they do that, let's check out some of the stats here from this first half. Again, this is Grand Rapids and Houston in an autumn wind first quarter matchup, 2017. Let's pop open this box score. We'll give you a little review and show you exactly how all this came down. We'll get rid of the so far today box. Here we go. So Grand Rapids were the first to draw blood. On their second drive, in fact, it was Julius Thomas from Tyrod Taylor from 7 yards out. And with 6 minutes to play in the first quarter, Grand Rapids took a 7-0 lead. Nick Novak was able to connect on a 33-yard field goal in the first couple of plays in the second quarter to extend the Grand Rapids lead to 10-0. And on their next drive, Mike Evans was found on a deep route from Tyrod Taylor, and that put Grand Rapids up 17-0. After the teams exchanged possessions, Houston was able to get on the board on a 4th and 1 from the Grand Rapids 6-yard line. Dak Prescott was able to find superstar wideout A.J. Green for a 6-yard reception and a score to narrow the lead to 17-7. Since that time, Grand Rapids has had 2 field goal attempts from Nick Novak go wide left. So instead of 23-7, we're still at 17-7. And again, Houston has the ball here in the second half to start the second half. They're down, but it's a manageable score. You put those field goals on the board, and they're down 16. So looks like the teams are getting ready to start here in the second half. And after a 25-yard return, Houston will take over at their own 25. So in that first half, Dak Prescott was pretty inconsistent. But again, that's to be expected against a good defense that Grand Rapids has. And Lamar Miller also had tough sledding, and he's facing an excellent defense. So you're going to have to catch some breaks. You're going to have to get some guessed wrongs. And here comes a deep pass from Prescott looking for Vance McDonald, and that pass is going to fall incomplete. There was a chance for an interception, but Prescott doesn't throw a lot of picks. So there was very low risk with that deep shot. And now we're at 3rd and 9. Ball at the 26-yard line. Texans 2-0 coming into this contest, trailing the 1-0 Grand Rapids Rampage 17-7. Prescott is sacked, and he loses the ball. Prescott loses the ball, and it is picked up by Grand Rapids. That is Calaris Campbell with the sack and the fumble recovery. And Grand Rapids once again finds themselves in the red zone of the Houston Texans. A score here could really do a lot of damage, especially if it's a touchdown. Already up 17-7. And looking for more. This is Mike Gillisley. No linebackers in the zone, and he picks up 7 on that off tackle left. Grand Rapids has a reasonably strong rushing, offensive line that does pretty well with the run, as you can see the numbers on the screen. And there's another run to Mike Gillisley, but that one only picks up a yard. There were 2 linebackers in that zone. Nice call from Nathan. So Dave looking for 4 yards on this play to extend this drive. This is the Grand Rapids Rampage, who last year finished 14-2. And here's a pass to Mike Evans, and this is into the end zone for a touchdown. That is Mike Evans' 2nd touchdown catch of the game, and Tyrod Taylor's 3rd touchdown pass of the game. And on the heels of that turnover, sack fumble by Dak Prescott, Grand Rapids is able to extend their lead to 24-7 over the Houston Texans. And again, with a very strong defense, 17 points is a lot to overcome. But Nathan is a fine coach, and if anybody can pull a rabbit out of his hat, it would be this gentleman. Anyone who can take Case Keenum to a Super Bowl has to be a pretty solid coach. But Dak Prescott is really off today, and so understandably they're trying to get some yards on the ground so they can make these 3rd down conversions a little bit easier. But when you're facing that good pass defense, here comes a sideline pass, this one to Sammy Coates. It's going to be up to Sammy Coates, and look at this, he hits a long gain. And a long gain indeed. Sammy Coates is going to take this flat pass, and he's going to take it to the house. He's going to take this to the house, 72 yards on a flat pass. What a weapon. Sammy Coates has a long pass, has a long gain on his flat pass card, and Nathan hits it. And so that's how you erase a sack fumble that turns into a touchdown. You come right back down the field for a score. So Prescott to Sammy Coates for a big gainer on that flat pass. And Houston has cut this lead to 10 points. Grand Rapids 24, Houston 14. So let's catch our breath here. 2 scores in a matter of just 2 minutes in this shootout. And here's a pass to Mike Evans, and it falls incomplete. So let's look at that one more time. That was officially a 72-yard pass. Flat pass. A flat pass. That's exactly right. A 72-yard pass. He gets past his man and races to the end zone for a score. And that'll cut the lead to 10. And now, look at this. Nathan has stopped him on 2 consecutive plays. So the Texans here on 3rd down have a chance to get the ball back unless Grand Rapids can find 8 yards on this next play. Tyrod Taylor got off to a slow start. Last 2 quarters, he's been excellent. He's completed 17 passes. He's closing in on 200 yards. And here's a throw to Michael Thomas, but he's double teamed by Houston, and that pass falls incomplete. And so Houston is able to turn over Grand Rapids. And they're going to get some excellent field position here. This is only a 36-yard punt. It's going to be fielded right at midfield. And our game froze again. My goodness gracious. Okay, well, we'll just jump right back into it. That is 2 freezes. Let me get my number here. Well, so we missed a punt return. I am really sorry about that. We'll have to go back and take a look at the play log and see what happened. Anyway, we're going to just reset the action here. It's 2nd down and 7. Houston now has the ball at the Grand Rapids 22, so a big momentum change here as Houston was able to keep Grand Rapids at bay, a 3-and-out, and a poor kick. We'll have to take a look at what the return amount was. And here comes a curl pass to A.J. Green. There's 4 in the zone, but Green is able to haul the play in, and it's 1st and 10, ball at the 11. So let's see if we can get an idea of who returned that. It looked like it must have been a big one, unless we missed another play. No, it wasn't. So we've missed another play in there somewhere. So sorry about that. We can look at the play log a little bit later. But anyway, let's just focus on what we have now. Here comes a sideline pass to Sammy Watkins. That pass is going to be complete, and it goes for 7 yards. So 2nd down and 3. Ball at the 4-yard line. So how about that play early in the midway in the 2nd quarter? Houston trailing 17-0. A 4th and 1 play from the 6th. And against this excellent run defense, Nathan and the Houston Texans decide to go for it in a nice little quick pass to A.J. Green, and it puts them on the board. And now they are knocking on the doorstep once again. This was an off-tackle run for Lamar Miller, but Grand Rapids guessed correctly. And boy, did they ever. That was a loss of 1 for Lamar Miller. So now that brings up 3rd and 4. Ball at the Grand Rapids 5. Now Nathan, if he doesn't get this here, probably will consider the field goal. That'll cut the lead down to 1 score. I think he'd have more of an appetite for it, trailing 10 as opposed to 17 in that second quarter. But certainly looking to convert. I would think almost certainly a pass, but I'm 0 for 2 in guesses. Let's see what he's going to do. He does have Prescott, who can run here, so let's see if he decides to call it. Well, he decides to pitch to Lamar Miller. There is a linebacker in the zone, and that's going to go for nothing. In fact, that's going to drop him back 3 more yards. So nice call from the defense. Even if he called pass, that put the linebacker up in that zone, kept him there. 3-yard loss for Lamar Miller. And this should be a chip shot field goal, and it is. So Greg Zuerlein hits his second field goal. Excuse me, that's his first field goal of the contest. And that will cut the lead to 7. So 24-17, Houston has put together 10 straight points to narrow this margin for Grand Rapids. There's 4:30 remaining here in the third quarter. So we're going to jump right back into action here momentarily, as we've been locked out again. So Grand Rapids on 2nd down and 6, and that is a run. I believe that would have been to Gillisley. Nope, that was Tyrod Taylor. Designed run from Tyrod Taylor. Guessed wrong, short gain, and he picks up another 15 yards. The dangerous Tyrod Taylor has much damage with his legs as he does with his arm. Not quite the card that he had last year, but still a very dangerous player. Here comes a pass, and it's picked off. A short pass to Devontae Booker is picked off. With 2 men in the zone, it's an instant interception. And now, boys and girls, Houston Texans with all the momentum in this game, ball at midfield. And there's a run to Lamar Miller that picks up 6. So the momentum in this game is completely swung to the Houston Texans. And here comes a fly to A.J. Green, and that pass is going to be knocked away. And that'll bring up 3rd down. So Grand Rapids comfortably ahead, 17-7. Unable to connect on 2 field goals. Certainly had the potential to lead 23-7 at the half, and suddenly, even coming into this third quarter with a touchdown in their first drive based on a fumble deep in his own end for the Texans, the Texans are battling back and then some. And here is a pass to Eric Ebron that goes for 20 yards, no linebacker in the zone. And that is another first down for Houston. Ball at the Grand Rapids 26, trailing 17-7 at the half. Now only down by 7 and driving. And here comes a pass, long pass to A.J. Green, and it is caught. It is caught by A.J. Green, and that puts the ball at the 1. And that will conclude the third quarter. And wow, have things changed in this game. The Texans trailing 24-17 now have the ball at the Grand Rapids 1. And Lamar Miller goes up the middle, and that play goes for nothing. So we now have ended the third quarter, and we are headed to the fourth quarter with Grand Rapids up 24-17 over the Super Bowl champion runner-up Houston Texans. Full house backfield, 2nd and 1. Here comes Lamar Miller. Again, the play is guessed right, but Lamar Miller is able to find his way into the end zone for a score, and Houston has come all the way back, trailing 17-0 in the second quarter, and are an extra point away from tying this contest. And they do. Zuerlein puts it through, And we are knotted at 24. So excellent comeback by Nathan Baylor and his Houston Texans. So Grand Rapids leading 24-7 early in the third quarter, now find themselves tied. And I think we've gotten stuck again. Unless they're talking, which doesn't look like they are. So we'll take a break here. We'll jump right back in. We're in the fourth quarter. The game is tied at 24. Grand Rapids will have possession as soon as we get locked back into this. And they now have the ball at their own 22. So again, sorry for the lockup. Had multiple lockups in this game, and it's wrecking the momentum of what is a terrific game. Here comes a screen pass to Devontae Booker. It picks up 6, and that'll bring up 3rd and 3. So I'm going to leave the cards off here for a while and see if that makes a difference. I'm not exactly sure what else to do. Just very, very frustrating. So Tyrod Taylor today, 20 of 33, 233 yards, 3 touchdowns, but a costly interception on the last drive that led to the tying score from the Houston Texans. And that pass falls incomplete. That pass was intended for Michael Thomas. And Grand Rapids, once again, is going to turn the ball back over to the Texans. So Grand Rapids has only been able to put 7 points on the board in this half, and that really was on the heels of a sack fumble by Dak Prescott deep in their own territory. And a few plays later, Grand Rapids capitalized and went up 24-7. But since then, the Texans have put 17 unanswered on the board and certainly have all the momentum in this contest. And Dak Prescott, who was off to a very slow start in the first half, has certainly picked up the pace here in the second half. He's 13 of 26, but he has 242 yards and 2 touchdowns. That pass was to Eric Ebron, good for 17 yards and another first down. Ball at the 49. That's Lamar Miller, guessed wrong, and that picks up 9. 9-yard carry on the play. 2nd down and 1. Just over 11 minutes here in the fourth quarter. We got a good one here. 24-24, Grand Rapids and Houston. This is Autumn Wind 2017 regular season contest. And that's a run up the middle for Dak Prescott. He picks up 2 yards on the keeper. And we're moving the chains. 1st and 10 for the Texans, who are hosting Grand Rapids this evening. Ball at the Rampage 40. 2 tight end set. Here comes a pass to Sammy Coates. Coates hauls it in and picks up 7 yards. 2nd down and 7. Sammy Coates, a big play here in this third quarter on a 72-yard flat pass reception and score. So the long gain reading on his card certainly comes in handy. And ever since that play, Grand Rapids has been unable to put together any momentum at all. And Houston has capitalized. I believe Houston has scored on every possession this second half with the exception of one. And that was when they fumbled it deep in their own territory. That was a pass to Lamar Miller. And that's another first down. So Dak Prescott on the pass to Lamar Miller that picks up 16 yards out of the backfield. And Houston has the ball at the Rampage 17. We are knotted at 24 with 9 minutes to play. That's a pass to A.J. Green, and A.J. Green is into the end zone for a score. So A.J. Green on a flat pass picks up 17 on the play. And Houston, trailing 24-7 early in the third quarter, has scored 24 unanswered to take the lead 31-24 over the Rampage. We have 8 minutes and change remaining here in the fourth quarter. Grand Rapids who had led for nearly the entire game, now finds themselves down 31-24. Plenty of time here in this fourth quarter. Nice call by Houston Texans. The pass to Mike Evans falls incomplete. He was double teamed on the play. And it's now second down. So this is Dave Malt. Excuse me, this is Dave Malt. He coaches Grand Rapids. Last year, Grand Rapids was 14-2. Nathan Baylor is the head coach for the Houston Texans, 10-6 last season, and they wound up making it to the league championship, the Ooper Bowl. Charmed life, considering the team was led by Case Keenum, brought them all the way to the title game, fell short against the Seattle Seahawks, coached by Dennis Crowley, excuse me. Here's a 3rd down and 10 pass. Wow, to Michael Thomas, who was double teamed, and he makes the catch. So I'm sure that Nathan has to be shaking his head. That's one of the most frustrating things, is to get the correct double team, and yet he finds that catch. Here comes Tyrod Taylor on a run, and he's going to pick up some good yardage on this play. That's a pickup of 12. So now they're in good field position, and they have some momentum here. That's Tyrod Taylor on the carry. 32 yards on the day. Here's a run for Gillislee, and that one is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Gillislee has had some tough sledding here in the second half. He does have 71 yards on 13 carries. But Grand Rapids has had tough sledding here in the second half. In the first half, they dominated, and in this early part of the third quarter, when they went up 24-7, this had all the hallmarks of a blowout. But Nathan and the Texans have fought back gamely to take the lead 31-24. But Gillislee finally finds some holes, and he takes advantage with a 22-yard run. Gillislee now is fatigued, still in the backfield. Here comes Gillislee again. A steady diet of Mike Gillislee. That is an 11-yard pickup. Actually, he picks up 20 on the play. Looks like we had the boxcar reading on that, and so he's given an additional 10. Only a yard is knocked off because of his fatigue. He picks up 20, and that will put him over the 100-yard mark, 114 yards. So Grand Rapids is certainly knocking on the door now, looking to tie this game. 31-24. Ball at the Texans 15. 4 minutes. Clock is not a factor at this point. Now it's just a matter of whether or not Grand Rapids, the Rampage, can knock this in. Here comes another run to Gillislee. This time the Texans guess run, but they don't have a linebacker to support. And Gillislee picks up 5 on the play. And now it's second down. Gillislee, workhorse, 16 carries, 119 yards. A robust 7 yards per carry average. So Grand Rapids, slow and steady, taking advantage of an average Texans defense. And here we go again, another one for Gillislee, but this time Houston guesses correctly. So a nice call by Houston. And now it's nervous time. 3rd and 5 for Grand Rapids, trailing 31-24 to the Super Bowl runner-up Houston Texans. This is Autumn Wind 2017. It's a regular season contest pitting the 2-0 Grand Rapids Rampage, Houston Texans against the 1-0 Grand Rapids Rampage. Here comes a button hook. This one's to Booker. Pass is guessed correctly, but Booker hauls it in and picks up 7 on the play. So nice play, Tyrod Taylor, who's now thrown for 250 yards. He's 22 of 37 with 3 touchdowns. So 2:24 remaining, plenty of time for Grand Rapids. Now it's just a question of, can they pick up these 3 yards in the next 4 downs? There's no penalties and no injuries in this league. 4 plays for Grand Rapids to punch this in. And here comes a pass to Mike Evans. He's correctly double-teamed by the Texans, and he hauls it in for the second time on this drive. Grand Rapids completes a pass to a double-teamed wide receiver. Snake Eyes gets you 6, and Mike Evans has tied this game. Well, essentially he's tied this game if Nick Novak can knock this kick through, but boy, Grand Rapids would kill to have just one of those missed field goals in the second quarter back. He did have a couple of chances to even miss that extra point if he rolls a 10 or 11, but he did not, and we are tied in a marvelous regular season contest. Again, glad to be bringing this with you tonight. Strat-o-matic football is the game. Autumn Wind is the league. This is Michael Reeves with you tonight as we are watching 2 very fine coaches, Nathan Baylor and his Houston Texans, facing off against the Grand Rapids Rampage, coached by Dave Malt, 14-year veteran of this 14-year Autumn Wind League. 2 minutes and 6 seconds remaining. That is a complete pass to Sammy Coates. He does not get out of bounds, but it doesn't matter. That'll bring us to the 2-minute warning. So Houston and Grand Rapids are knotted at 31. We've now hit the 2-minute warning. Texans ball at their own 30. 2 tight end set. And here comes a pitch to Lamar Miller. And he is able to pick up the first down. He does not get out of bounds, however, but he does pick up the first down. So Grand Rapids will have to play another set of downs. Texans decide not to call timeout and instead play hurry up, staying with the 2 tight end set. Here comes a slant pass to Vance McDonald. Prescott's got to run. He tucks it, and he will pick up 9 yards on the play. He is stopped in the field of play, and let's see if Texans decide to call timeout here. And they will not. Instead, they choose to run a straight play here in which they have a formation change. So this is I would have thought he would have called timeout to bring a new set of players onto the field, but he did not. Ball at his own 45, 2nd and 1. He's going with a straight eye. And this is a long pass to Oweale, and that pass falls incomplete. I may have read that incorrectly. I wonder if that was a short pass. Sorry, I didn't see the play call. The animation seemed to think that it was going short. I thought he said a long pass to Oweale. Anyway, so 3rd down and 1. And here comes a quick in to Vance McDonald. There's a linebacker in the zone. But the dice roll 5 gets him 12 yards on the play. There was a 4 linebacker in the zone. He picks up 12, and that is another first down for Houston. And they are closing in on field goal range. There is 52 seconds remaining. The Texans do choose to call a timeout there. So, again, the 2 tight end offense. Grand Rapids stays in the 4-3. Boy, Grand Rapids would like to dial up a sack here, just anything. Here comes a pass to Sammy Coates. That pass falls incomplete. Another flat pass. Very early in the third quarter, Sammy Coates hauls in a flat pass and raised 72 yards, and that was the momentum changer of this game, no doubt. At that point, that cut the lead to 24-14, and Nathan proceeded to put 17 more points on the board and tie this game, take the lead 31-24. Grand Rapids has tied the game at 31. Let's set the stage for you here. It is 3rd down and 10. Houston is driving. They have the ball at the Grand Rapids 43. They need a few more yards to have a chance for Greg Zuerlein, who does have a big leg. So let's see if they're going to set up for the field goal or they're going to try for a first down. Again, it's 3rd and 10. Dak Prescott under center. And this pass is going to fall incomplete. So now we've got an interesting scenario here. He has decided to punt, which is the safe play. And he's likely going to punt this out of bounds, which he does. Coffin corner kick, and that ball goes to the 18. So he decided not to go for it, and rightly so, because that would have given the ball back to Grand Rapids. If they didn't get it, minimum, it would have been the 43-yard line. It could have been worse had there been a sack. And he decided to make the safe play and play for overtime. So there's 22 seconds left. Grand Rapids has all 3 of their timeouts remaining. So there's at least 3 plays left for Grand Rapids, unless there's a turnover or a touchdown. And he is going to go for it. Here comes a pass to Jordan Matthews. There's one man in the zone. Play is guessed right. Tyrod Taylor is going to run with it, and he's not going to pick up any yards at all. Goes back up the middle. It is registered as a sack, as a 0 gain. They do not call timeout, and we are going to go to overtime. So Grand Rapids is going to get this kick. And the 2 are communicating, and they're saying, let's go. All right, so no break. 31-31. Grand Rapids is going to get this kick. But they're not going to be able to do much with it. In fact, it's only a 13-yard return from Kenyon Barker. And so immediately, poor field position for Grand Rapids. You all know the overtime rules, 15 minutes of overtime. If Grand Rapids scores a touchdown on this possession, the game is over. If they kick a field goal, Houston has a chance to tie it or take the lead. On the first play from scrimmage, that's Jonathan Stewart. He picks up 5 yards. Mike Gillisley had an outstanding contest. He's rushed for over 100 yards, but he's also fatigued, so we may see a lot of Jonathan Stewart this second half. This overtime. And here comes a run. It's guessed wrong, and this is Gillisley. Once again, Gillisley, but he's stopped in the backfield. It took a 6-rate block to free him, and that was not happening. Not on that right side of the line. So now it's 3rd down and 5. So Grand Rapids needing to convert. Ball at their own 19 here in overtime. 31-31. Grand Rapids and Houston. So a 3-wide set, and the Texans counter with a 3-3-5. And here comes a short pass to Devontae Booker. It is guessed right. And Tyrod Taylor's got a run. And for the second consecutive time, he is stopped for no gain on a must run, which again is a sack. But it doesn't matter. He's not able to pick up the necessary yards. And once again, the Rampage are forced to punt. Edwards boots this one 44 yards. Let's see, the return man is Cole Beasley, who calls for a fair catch. So excellent field position for the Texans. A score of any type at this point in the game will win it here in overtime. So Houston holds serve, forces the 3-and-out on Grand Rapids. It's 31-31. Looking for a field goal or a touchdown on this drive. Here's Lamar Miller, and he is swept up in the backfield for a 2-yard loss. Again, Grand Rapids, excellent run defense. Very stout. 3 of their front 4 with 6s. The only way to run on this team is to run left. Second down run for Lamar Miller. It's wrong, and Lamar Miller is going to race 20 yards. Well, that's the other way you run on this team. If it's on Lamar Miller's card and it's guessed wrong, he's got a very strong guessed wrong card. Look at that. 33, short gain, 20. The dreaded 0, short gain, and short gain. Here's a pass to Vance McDonald, guessed right, and the pass falls incomplete. So the Texans have made their way past midfield. Ball at the 45. 11 minutes here in the overtime. 31-31, Grand Rapids and the Texans. The Texans trail 24-7 early in the third quarter. And now are looking to win this in overtime. Here's a pass, a quick out to Ebron, and that's a 6. That's a 6 on the white die, so that's the 6-rated linebacker rule. But a bad break for the Texans, and it only nets them 2 yards. And that'll bring up third down. Third down and 8. For the Texans, ball at the 43. This is a big, big play for Grand Rapids. If they're not able to stop them here, it won't be long before Houston is in field goal range. So this is a must stop for the Rampage. 3-wide set for the Texans. And this is a pitch to Lamar Miller on third down, and he is stopped. He is stopped for only a 2-yard gain. And that was a major, major play. We'll have time to talk about that result here in just a second. Oh, great punt. Wow. Johnny Hecker has pinned the Rampage back to their own 2. But just going back to that play a moment ago, that was a 3rd down and 8 run. And the dice roll came up on the defensive card, and the defensive end came into question. And it would have been a 2-yard gain or a 37-yard gain, depending on whether or not the defensive reading was met. And it was met and exceeded because of that 6-rated defensive end. So a huge play for Grand Rapids, but now they truly find themselves behind the 8 ball. 9 minutes to play here in this overtime. And here comes a quick pass to Mike Evans. Defense is double-teaming Mike Thomas. And so Evans is able to make that play, but it's only for a 3-yard gain. But it does give them a little bit more breathing room. Again, the Rampage 5-yard line. Got a lot of green to go before they get anywhere close to scoring range. Right now, they're just concerned about getting out of the shadow of their own end zone for sure. 2nd down and 7 for the Rampage. Here comes a quick pass, this time to Julius Thomas, the tight end. And this is a 6 roll, which means that's going to be a gainer. And a good one, a 16-yard pickup for Julius Thomas. And that's a first down for Grand Rapids, ball at the 21. They're going to look for Julius Thomas again. This time it's a slant pass, and the pass will fall incomplete. Houston was double teaming both wide receivers on that play. There was only 3 in the zone, but the pass falls incomplete. Well, this has been a long game, but it's been an outstanding one. You wish Super Bowls were this good, right? 31-31, Grand Rapids and Houston in this early season classic. Grand Rapids last year, 14 wins. Houston last year, 10 wins. And a trip to the Super Bowl finals. And here's a pass to Devontae Booker. What a call by the Texans. They double-teamed Devontae Booker out of the backfield. I can't imagine Grand Rapids had any idea that was coming. Boy, that was intuition and a great call from Nathan Baylor. So this will bring up third down for Dave Malt and the Grand Rapids Rampage, 14-year veteran of this Autumn Wind League. Third down and 10. Tyrod Taylor, 25 for 42. 272 yards and 4 touchdown passes today. And he's looking for one of his favorite targets, Julius Thomas, and Texas anticipated that. And that pass is going to fall incomplete. So the play is guessed right. And Grand Rapids is going to have to punt this one back to Houston. But it is a big kick. This is going to flip the field and house. 59-yard punt to Cole Beasley, who calls fair catch. So the Texans, figuring they get a little bit better field position, basically, they were fighting Grand Rapids at their own 20. Now they find the ball at their own 20. So 7 minutes to play. Nathan doesn't want to get too aggressive here. Try to steer clear of the turnover, obviously. Nice start to their drive. That is a flat pass over to Sammy Coates, who picks up 10 yards. Sammy Coates has 6 receptions for 98 yards. 72 of those yards came on one play, a touchdown early in the second half for the Texans. Dak Prescott now has crossed over. Actually, I guess he did on the previous play. Prescott has 311 yards, throwing 3 touchdowns today. Here's a run for Lamar Miller. He picks up 7 yards. Lamar Miller has 86 yards on 22 carries. He also has a touchdown. So the Texans going right at the teeth of that very stout 4-3 defense, right into the land of sixes, and no fear. Here comes a pitch to Lamar Miller. It's guessed wrong, and he's going to pick up some yards. It's a short gain reading, and he's going to pick up 18. So nice call. And once again, for the second time, in fact, in this overtime, the Texans have crossed into Grand Rapids territory and find themselves at the 45-yard line. So again, any score in this second half, in the overtime, is going to win it. Here's a curl pass to A.J. Green and a sack. So Prescott is sacked for the second time in this contest. The other time he was sacked, it led to a fumble that a couple plays later led to a Grand Rapids score that put them up 24-7 early in the second half. But since then, pretty much all Texans, but now they've fought very evenly in this second quarter. Grand Rapids trying to hold off the Texans' furious charge. That is another run for Lamar Miller. That's 24 carries now for Lamar for 110 yards. It's now 3rd and 10 as Miller got back those 6 that Prescott lost on the sack. So another big play for both of these clubs. Houston converts this. They could be on their way to the game-winning field goal. Grand Rapids can stop them here. Maybe they'll have one more chance for a winning drive. Can't be concerned about that. Dave Mauld is only concerned about getting the Texans off the field. 3rd and 10. 3-wide set. A.J. Green has been the favorite target of the Texans. This time he's going to Sammy Watkins. Prescott is forced to tuck and run, and he's going to pick up 9, and that'll be 4th down with the ball at the 36. That is Greg Zuerlein on the field, but let's see if he's really going to think about kicking this thing. A 2 through 5 chance. I can't see him trying this, and he's not going to. He's going to the I formation. So this is the play of overtime right here. If the Texans convert, they'll have one more set of downs to try to get it close for a field goal. Well, it looks like a timeout was called. So, okay, so the Texans are back on the field. They didn't like the personnel that they had on the field, and so they'll go back to Lamar Miller, a 2-wide set. This is just a straight I formation with Vance McDonald at tight end. Under center is Dak Prescott. Will they just do the keeper for Prescott? Will they go up to Lamar Miller, who's already had 24 carries? Or will they do nothing that I just said and go for a slant to Vance McDonald? And that pass is caught, and that's a 1st down to Vance McDonald. A 9-yard pass with the ball now at the 27. Now, Greg Zuerlein is an inconsistent kicker, but if they get it to around the 20, this game has a very real chance of ending as a positive result for the Texans. Lamar Miller with a big 6-yard pickup there. Now is it put the ball into better field goal range for the Texans. 2:42, the clock doesn't matter at this point. Now is hold on to that football and get Zuerlein on the field to try to win this thing here in overtime in a classic 31-31 Grand Rapids and Houston. This is Autumn Wind 2017 regular season contest, but they're playing this thing like it's the Ooper Bowl. Lamar Miller is caught in the backfield. Actually, he makes his way back to the line of scrimmage for no gain. 3rd and 4. With the ball at the 42. 2:06 remaining. No sense in stopping the clock at this point. Straight I formation. Are they going to Lamar Miller again? Just hold on to that football, says Nathan Baylor. He'd like to have that 1st down, but it's really just a matter of holding on to this ball. Does he risk putting this in the air? Prescott. Doesn't throw a lot of picks. He's going to go safe and go with Lamar Miller. There's no linebackers there, and Lamar Miller gets to the line, and then some. He gets the 1st down. So move the chains. That'll take us to the 2-minute warning of overtime. It does. So now the ball's at the 17. Lamar Miller is officially fatigued, but that doesn't matter. 27 carries and 120 yards. Prescott has been outstanding, but Lamar Miller has been steady. They're not going to take any chances. Zuerlein is going to go ahead and line up for this field goal to win this contest, and it is through. So the Texans have completed the comeback, trailing by 17 early in the second half, and managed to come back and win this one in overtime, 34-31. An outstanding contest from both of these coaches. Congratulations to both of these coaches. They're both in the same conference. I would have to imagine they're going to meet each other in the playoffs on down the line for sure. But Dave, Malt, excellent effort. Nathan Baylor, outstanding effort. He never gave up. So we'll take a look at the box score real quick and see how this contest ended up and how did we get here. We'll do a real quick review of this Autumn Wind first quarter contest. Once again, Houston 34, Grand Rapids, the Rampage 31. Houston now goes to 3-0. Grand Rapids falls to 1-1. Early on in the game, Grand Rapids looked very strong. In fact, putting the first 17 points on the board. As you can see, Julius Thomas with a 7-yard pass from Tyrod Taylor. Taylor finished with 4 touchdown passes. That's his first of 4. Novak with a 33-yard field goal, and Mike Evans a 24-yard pass from Tyrod Taylor. So as you can see, 10 minutes into the second quarter, the Texans already were trailing 17-0. They were able to get a touchdown late in the second quarter on a 4th and 1 from the Grand Rapids 6-yard line. Dak Prescott tossed the first of his 3 touchdown passes for the game to A.J. Green, a 6-yard toss that cut the lead to 17-7. That's how they finished at the half. In the third quarter, Houston took possession of the second half kickoff and subsequently fumbled on a sack of Dak Prescott. And a couple of plays later, Tyrod Taylor finds Mike Evans for an 11-yard scoring toss, and it's 24-7 Grand Rapids. So Houston certainly was behind the 8 ball, but that seemed to charge up something in the Texans because, as you can see, they were proceeded to put the next 24 points on the board. A couple of plays after that touchdown pass from Evans on a 3rd down, Dak Prescott fired a quick pass to Sammy Coates. The dice roll wound up on Coates' card, and he has a long gain on his flat pass, and he just so happened to get it. And 72 yards later, Houston finds themselves back in the game, 24-14. They tack on another field goal 6 minutes later, Greg Zuerlein from 25 yards out. And then they tie up the score on the opening of the fourth quarter. That's Lamar Miller on a 1-yard scoring run. Lamar Miller, certainly one of the heroes of this game, a workhorse with 27 carries in this contest, and the score was tied at 24. And Houston continued that momentum as A.J. Green hauled in his second touchdown pass, a 17-yarder from Dak Prescott. Houston was able to get that possession after an interception, a flat pass interception at midfield by Tyrod Taylor, his only interception of the game. Grand Rapids, shell-shocked, watching their 24-7 lead evaporate, to their credit, marched down the field, and with 2 minutes to go before the fourth quarter, Mike Evans hauled in his third touchdown pass of the game, a 3-yard toss from Tyrod Taylor, his 4th touchdown pass. And we are knotted at 31. So we headed into overtime, and the possessions went back and forth. Houston was able to get the ball deep into Grand Rapids territory, but was unable to get close enough for a field goal, and instead pinned Grand Rapids to their own 2-yard line on a great punt by Hecker. Grand Rapids was able to manage a first down, punted the ball back to Houston. Houston moved the ball, especially with Lamar Miller, who was outstanding on that final drive, getting a number of solid gains that put Houston in field goal range, and Greg Zuerlein connected on his second of the game, a 34-yard kick, giving Houston the win in this shootout, 34-31, your final score, from two teams who honestly will have a great chance here to make some noise in the playoffs, and certainly one of these two teams could be an Uber Bowl finalist. Nathan and his Houston Texans were there last year with Case Keenum at quarterback, and certainly this is an upgrade with Dak Prescott. For the game, the completion percentage, not great, 21 of 39, but he did throw for 321 yards and 3 touchdowns. He did throw 1 interception. His counterpart, Tyrod Taylor, again, okay completion percentage, 25 of 43 for 270 yards, but 4 touchdowns, but a big interception at midfield that led to the score that put Houston into the lead. So that mistake hurt, but clearly one of the bigger mistakes is Nick Novak and his inability to connect on field goals. In the first half, he was only 1 of 3, and either one of those 2 field goals, and perhaps we're not even talking about overtime. His leading running back for Grand Rapids had 119 yards. That was Mike Gillisley. He did it on only 18 carries, in fact. Tyrod Taylor, 5 carries for 32 yards, but his last 2 must runs were 0 and 0. So he was sacked a couple of times there. Lamar Miller, the workhorse, 27 carries, 120 yards, and a score. Julius Thomas was the favorite target for Grand Rapids. He had 9 catches for 87 yards and a touchdown. Mike Evans had 5 catches and hauled in 3 touchdowns. Devontae Booker out of the backfield was dangerous, 5 catches for 60 yards. For Houston, Sammy Coates led all receivers with 98 yards. He also had 6 catches and a touchdown, including that 72-yard reception. A.J. Green, 5 catches for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. And there you can see Nick Novak missed a field goal from the 30s and missed a field goal from the 40s, either one of those 2. And perhaps we're not talking about overtime. Just real quick, looks like Jarrell Freeman, 13 tackles. Landon Collins, the safety, had 12 tackles. 2 sacks for Houston. Both of them were for no gain, so they didn't have that much of an impact. Vinny Curry, with the sack and the fumble recovery, was from Calais Campbell. So Vinny Curry had the sack, and Calais Campbell picked it up, and a couple plays later, that's how Grand Rapids got their touchdown and turned it into 24-7. Again, there's your stats. All in all, just an outstanding game. I hope they do send the recap to everybody and check it out on the Strat Fan Forum. It was a very enjoyable game. I enjoyed bringing it to everybody, and hopefully we'll get some more regular season contests, and we certainly hope that they're as good as this. Again, congratulations to both coaches. I'm sure we're going to see them both in the playoffs. Houston goes to 3-0 in the 2017 Autumn Wind League. Grand Rapids falls to 1-1. Again, this is Michael Reeves signing off.